Welcome to Real Neighbours.
Woo, woo. Austin, what episode are we on?
It's 25, okay?
Yeah.
Don't even try to sneak that one past me.
Yeah, it's 25. No, Austin,
I was
it's 26. Yeah.
I said the worst part is knowing the fact that the audience already knows you're wrong if you are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. It was nice proving you're wrong. So Austin, just a quick passing thought. Have you ever noticed Jay Leno has a really big chin?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
All right.
That's a great. We always come in full swing.
Yeah.
We were actually before the show we were kind of talking about that if we really ever wanted to, if we ever made it, or we were so focused on the show that if we prioritized it over our own friendship, that we would just show up, sit in the chairs to each other and just stare at the ground until the record button hits. Just don't say a word.
Business only, like no talking unless it's being recorded.
Jamie knocks on the door to come meet up with me before the show.
Yeah.
I just walk him in.
With silence.
Don't even say hi.
Pure silence.
He just walks right in.
We just get business done, get everything set up in silence. We hit record, and then we start talking.
And we actually make show notes, but we don't even communicate verbally. We just type it on into a doc.
Sometimes he'll point it at me, and I'll nod for a second, and I'll put him away.
You got to say, 1, the vocal cords. 2, creative thought.
Yeah.
3, another one.
Yeah, there is 3. I don't know what it is either.
And you can already tell that we don't take enough notes.
No. Well,
if I had something written down for that.
The third?
Yeah, for something number 3.
Let's come up with a third right now, Austin.
Live on the air.
Yeah.
See, that's what we're getting good at, Jamie.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting pretty good at just kind of keeping the ball rolling live.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Kind of, sometimes. Definitely better than the beginning, I think.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we call improvement, thus better.
Ooh, that's true. That's a good point.
I think you got the shaky mic again.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to fix it at some point, okay?
Yeah, there's like a cord on our mic.
Guys, okay, by the way, so a quick apology to the audience. We're having some weird, like mic pops, and I think last week we had some of the spots were kind of skippy.
Oh yeah,
like an old record player a little bit.
Yeah.
And the worst part is actually because I'm so egotistical that I listen to our content and I laugh.
Yeah.
So I was laughing away at one of our jokes, of course.
Yeah.
Like cackling.
Yeah.
In my room.
Yeah.
And
some quality stuff.
And then it started skipping. I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing it. I hope it doesn't do it again. If it doesn't skip, that's good. I guess we're going to find out together.
Oh, yeah, because we didn't really figure out what the issue was.
I'm hoping... Oh, it could be a couple things. Hopefully, it was... I might have accidentally put half, like one live battery and one dead battery in.
Yeah,
so I kind of thought it's possible that would...
But it's weird that it would, that would make the audio skip.
I know, because this is a rock-steady unit. This is actually... This thing has done me well for a long time.
Yeah.
So I would be very sad if it decided that this is the time to just keel over and die.
Yeah. How long have you had this little piece of machinery, Austin?
For like 4 or 5 years since school.
Okay.
Cost me like $400. It's called a Zoom H5, in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah. In case this is our solid review of it. It was skipping last episode, so in case you're interested in buying one.
We really know how to sell a product.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sponsor us, Zoom.
Yeah. This thing was skipping last episode, and if you're interested, it's called the Zoom what is it? H5?
H5, yeah. Now, also, we apologize because we're both opening water bottles at the same time and trying to juggle the mics.
It's not that hard,
man. You can tell that we're...
I just did.
I'm just saying, we hit the button and we start rolling.
Yeah.
So that's what counts, Jamie.
That's true.
You had some thoughts, and I have some thoughts as well. I want to get right into. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I think sometimes. No, I just a little passing story I thought was kind of funny. So, yeah, you were mentioning Austin here was mentioning that he wanted to start walking more. I guess, right?
Yes.
Gonna start walking.
My personal trainer says I'm a lazy wank and I don't do any cardio.
Yeah, you know, walk up those love handles.
I do. I got them a little bit, not as bad.
Really,
a little bit.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually.
Well, it seems a little targeted.
Yeah,
towards my love handles.
Okay, well, it's fine. But anyway, so yeah, he was saying he wanted to start walking. So it's funny because I've been walking. I have this weird habit of walking late at night, like. Usually before, it's kind of like a before bed routine because I find like that sort of helps me get a little tired. So I sometimes I walk at pretty like unearthly hours of the night, like before bed, which I mean, probably not the
What
safest.
are you roaming around at 5 in the morning?
No, I wouldn't say that late, but like I'll usually go after midnight or like 1 or 2 sometimes. I'll go for a little brief walk. But
Why? What do you gain?
um
Only do you just
I just
enjoy the
enjoy it.
scenery of watching like Sarnia's crazies come out of the woodwork and wander the streets?
Yeah.
The living dead.
I like the fear of maybe getting
the
stabbed.
general discomfort
Yeah.
of somebody just deciding that they're having a weird episode and they're just gonna attack you.
Yeah, it's a little life on the edge sort of deal. No, usually I don't actually see anyone. It's actually pretty quiet at night most of the time. I mean, I know that's hard to believe, but
Oh, so this is turning into a story.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All
So
right.
okay, so I was doing that. It's kind of usual of me. I usually just go for a little walk. I don't know. It's just a thing I do. It kind of tires me out before bed. But yeah, I was walking and I saw a guy walking like a good block away, and so he was it was a guy. Okay, so first off, this guy's
I
wearing.
already don't like it.
I know. Yeah, the hair is standing.
I'm already uncomfortable.
Yeah, I got goosebumps. So this guy's walking down the street, and keep in mind this is like 2 in the morning, so scary stuff.
Okay, great.
Another human being. So anyway, no, he's wearing a hospital gown, just walking down the street. And,
Awesome.
And he's kind of like moving slowly, and I was like, "Oh no!" And I think a nice, good person probably would have instantly been like, "Oh, maybe I should call the hospital and let them know maybe someone got out who
Or
shouldn't be."
they escaped.
Well, that's what I'm assuming. That
You
would-
know, there's two options.
no, that's what I meant. Like maybe I should call the hospital because they escaped.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, sorry. I should probably. I meant more like the intention. Like, are they like actually like out of their mind and just wandered out of the building, or did they intentionally run off?
Like, yeah, is it? Are they fine? I don't know. Like, maybe they're in there for I don't know. So anyway, this guy's walking, and I basically instead of dealing with it, I was just like, I'm just not gonna go near that. So I just turned a corner.
This is already a good call.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. So I see an alley, and I was like, the guy's walking really slow. I'm like, I think if I cut through this alley, I won't.
You already had a battle plan at
Yeah,
this point.
I was like, I
Where's
don't
the
think
nearest
I'll,
exit?
I was like, I don't think I'll run into this guy. So he's ahead of me. So I turn on the road, so he doesn't see me. He's just walking slowly, and I turn right down this road. I'm trying to paint a picture here, and I see an alley, and I cut through, and this guy. Of course, he turns down. Apparently, the alley connects on that side as well. So he, of course, turns down the
You
alley.
see, Jamie. Now this is where we can do some critique.
Yeah.
If you see a sketchy person at 2 in the morning,
Yeah.
don't go to the alleyway because
They go to
probably
alleyways.
like to go to alleyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're learning a lot here.
Yeah.
As we go along. But
Yes.
go ahead, continue.
All right. Yes. So of course I cut through, and I'm like, oh no! I see the guy slowly walking up, and of course I'm in his vision. So of course he's gonna say something. So I'm walking by. I just keep walking, trying to like not look, and randomly I just hear him go, "Hey man!" And I was like, oh no! And I'm like,
This is worst case scenario at this point.
this is like I'm like I don't want to deal with this. So he's like, it's like this old guy. Like he had a long white hair, like a beard, and he had like a hospital. Like I didn't get a good look at him just because I was kind of like
Side glances only.
yeah, I was kind of
Yeah.
like I don't know. I'm like it's just I'm alone at night. This is kind of weird. So I don't know what this guy's deal is. So anyway, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, do you have a cigarette?" And I was like, "Oh, no, sorry, man." And then he's like, "Are you going to 7-Eleven?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. Sorry." And he's like, "I can come with you." He's like, "Could you buy me a pack of cigarettes?" And
Oh, no.
And I was like, "No, sorry, man." And then he's like, "Please." And then he just kept walking, like following me a little. But again, he's walking very slow.
At the end of the day, you can outrun him, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's pretty obvious that you are fleeing from him.
Yeah,
if
and-
you begin to run.
And so I kept saying that. I was just kind of like, "Sorry, man. Like, no, I'm not going there. I'm just going for a little walk." And he's like, "Please." And he kept following me, and I was just like, "Oh no." But the problem was, I didn't want to finish my walk either. You know, I was like,
the mood's ruined at this point.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't want to run into this guy again because he's just wandering around. But he was pretty slow. But I just continued my walk and went about. But then in the back of my mind, the whole time, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run into this guy again. I bet. But But yeah, I don't know. It was very.
Did you run into him again?
I didn't.
Okay,
So,
you avoided him. I see.
so yeah, very. I don't know. It's just like once someone starts talking to you and you're alone at night, you're just like, I don't want. Like, no, I just want to mind my business here.
Generally speaking, yeah. The hospital gown is really what takes the cake.
Well, if he was
if somebody was wearing regular clothes and asked that, I would be less sketched out than somebody wearing a hospital gown.
yeah,
It's just the way it is, guys. 101 here, okay? If you're trying to bum smokes at 2 a.m.,
yeah,
wear something else.
yeah, exactly.
Don't bring a hospital gown.
Well, and I guess I figured the guy probably doesn't have his wallet on. I was using a hospital gown, so he just has like a wallet shoved in his ass cheeks.
Actually, I'm not very familiar with hospital gowns. Do they have pockets?
No, I don't know.
No pockets whatsoever.
I don't.
Not even like one on the inside.
They just cover your. They just cover your front.
Yeah,
too.
they're just meant to cover the bare
I
essentials.
think the ass kind of flaps.
Even
out
the
there in
butt
the back.
just flops open.
Yeah.
So you didn't even get a rear
No,
a rear seat view.
No, I got a rear
Okay.
view. I don't know. Wasn't my goal. But yeah, no. I mean, again, yeah, no wallet unless it was up his ass or something. So that makes sense why he was like desperate.
I mean, he probably didn't think about how he's going to get it back out.
Yeah,
if he did put it up there.
Where would he put the cigarette pack?
Yeah,
anyway?
it's not a great idea.
Yeah.
It seems great on paper when you're sketching out at 2 a.m. But
yeah. So anyway, actually, I did kind of eventually thought about it. And I was like, maybe I should just call the hospital and just say, like, did someone escape? Because I was kind of felt bad after like trying to ignore him. So I actually called the hospital, and they literally did not seem to care at all. I was like, oh, okay. I called them. I'm like, oh, hey, I just want to let you know, I'm just worried about this guy. I don't know, like, this guy just walking around a hospital gown. I don't know if someone escaped, or I don't know what the deal is. And the guy's just like, oh yeah, someone told us already. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, he's like, yeah, we already know. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, I was just making sure he's all right. They're like, yep, okay. I'm like, okay, bye.
Yeah, I like that.
He didn't.
We're aware of the situation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He didn't even say thank you. He just said like, yeah, we're aware. Okay.
Oh, right,
Okay, bye.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, nice. I don't know. It almost got the vibe that he's like, he thought I was like some weird, like, I don't even know, like weird property owner. Like, I don't want these people walking around my neighborhood. But I was genuinely concerned about him, which is why I called. It wasn't like me just being all like, I don't want. You know what I mean?
It sounds like a pretty standard 2 a.m. interaction.
Yeah, I guess so.
You call a guy who doesn't give a shit because he's tired and he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
The guy at the hospital gown wandering around, like...
That's normal.
yeah, like does he really want to be there?
Typical 2 a.m. shenanigans. Yeah, I bet he didn't either.
Nobody wants to be there.
But anyway, yeah, I felt like sharing that story because, you wanted to start walking, but maybe walking a little earlier is a better call.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do a 2 a.m. walk if that's. Yeah, no, I just got to start power walking a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to consider getting back into running, but I get shin splints.
Yeah,
and if you didn't know, shin splints are very unpleasant. I do not enjoy them.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever officially had a shin splint, but I think I've had it where my shins have hurt.
What
a
do
little.
You think shin splints are?
Like, I've had my shins hurt from jumping a lot and stuff before.
It's shin splints aren't like any sort of like bone like the way it sounds makes it almost seem like some sort of fracture or bone problem, but it's more of like it's hard to describe. It's a weird strain.
Yeah,
that it makes it very difficult to. In fact, if you overexert, it's actually almost uncomfortable to walk.
Right.
So it's and I had that for a little bit where I was walking around and I was like, wow, okay, let's not do that for a while. Let's go ahead and hang that up on the shelf.
Yeah, I always assumed it was like an indent or something a little bit in your shin.
No.
Don't some people get it severe like that though?
You know, I'm not gonna. I can't talk in my ass. I'm not gonna talk out. Not gonna pretend I know what I'm saying right now.
Right.
It's more I've experienced it to some degree.
Right.
It's not enjoyable. Maybe your bones do get reshaped. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Not a doctor.
You know, a shin splint sounds like something you would be in if you broke your leg.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what it sounds like. It's some sort of weird bone thing.
Yeah,
and maybe it is. You know what? Maybe I should just stop talking about it because I have no idea.
No, it totally is just a thing, like what you're saying. I've heard people in the context you're saying it. I've totally heard people say that.
You wonder if people are just using a term conveniently.
Yeah.
Or if it's the actual way it should be used.
Yeah.
So when someone says, I have a shin splint, you're like, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe you just feel general discomfort. I don't know.
I mean, if someone tells me they have something and I don't know what it is, I just believe them.
I mean,
I typically don't just assume they don't know what they're talking about.
I'm not an endless cynic. And for every time anybody tells me anything, I'm like, are you really?
Yeah, someone's like,
huh?
I have fibromyalgia. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I
sounds like a fungus.
Yeah, I don't believe you. Yeah, they explain what it is to me. They're like, no, fibromyalgia is this. It's like, no, it doesn't sound like that to me.
Really, huh?
Are you sure?
Watching a lot of TV.
Yeah. You just want attention.
You little goofster.
You just want attention with your fibromyalgia.
Okay, Mr. Fibromyalgia.
I actually don't know what that is either.
You know what? And you know what, Jimmy? I could talk out of my ass because I can make a general guess. I think it has something to do with like nerves or something.
Yeah, I thought it was
sorta-
joints.
I mean, is there Jimmy to people to plebes like us? Is there really a difference?
I mean, I don't have it, so I don't know. But I don't know.
If I feel a pain in my knee, I'm like, it could be the knee.
It could be
Could
fibromyalgia.
be like, could be
Maybe that-
could be fibromyalgia.
Maybe that's what that means.
I'll just throw that word out. I'll be like, oh no, fibromyalgia.
Yeah. Our ignorance is showing for sure.
There's definitely a good amount of the population that knows what that is.
Oh, yeah.
We're just not part of it.
No, yeah. Like
unfortunate.
Like I'd say a lot of people listening are probably like my grandma has that. That's pretty common. Like
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Very easily diagnosed, common. Like, come on, guys.
I actually don't know what that is, but hey, if anyone else out
Yeah,
there
you know what? If
struggling
you're
with it, I
bored-
feel for you.
Yeah, we feel for you. And if you're bored, just throw it in the comments. If you're too lazy, just don't.
Yeah.
Just fucking think we're stupid and move on with your
We
life.
don't need to know what it is.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad.
I want another thought I had, Jamie,
Mhm.
because I was thinking about this earlier today.
I've been thinking too much. Help me.
I don't know that one.
It's like 21 Pilots or something.
I know that one. I
Yeah.
know that one. No, it's About Me, Jamie.
What?
About Me.
Is that?
It's not Help Me.
I thought it said help. Me.
Wow, we are like guys. We don't even know music. This is awful.
I am certain I am right, but okay.
No,
let's go on.
No, I know the song. I've been
Okay,
thinking
okay.
too much about me, Jamie.
Fun fact.
It's about him.
Actually, fun fact. I actually saw them live, which is funny because
You
I'm not.
did? You
I'm
saw
not a
21
Yeah.
Why?
And I'm not a huge fan. Well, and it's funny. That was the last concert I saw.
Is
if
it
I
like-
really think about it.
Is it just is it a band?
Yeah. 21
Like,
Pilots.
is there a full band, or is it
Yeah.
just like a guy with a mixed board?
No, it was a full band. Yeah, they kind of fuse like electronic stuff. I don't know. It was just a friend of mine who wanted to go, and I don't know. I don't mind a couple of their songs, so I was like, sure, why not? So I just went.
Interesting.
It's so random.
Was it at like some big stadium or?
Yeah,
they're very famous, right?
I don't like. Oh yeah, I
they're
don't.
super
I don't
famous.
like listen to them really, but I didn't mind. I don't know. I'll see a lot of things live. I was just like, why not?
I do feel like
I think we ate a little bit too many edibles before, and I think a little bit of the concert. I was a little tired most of the concert, but
yeah.
whatever.
You know what? I think there was a certain period of time. The only reason I know the band, and I'll get back to my story, but I'm on this. The only reason I know the band is because at one point in time they were hard to ignore.
Yeah,
As in, I think what was it like 6-7 years ago? They were everywhere.
yeah,
I didn't even want to know what they were, but they were appearing.
yeah.
Now I feel like not so much.
they definitely had some hits, some radio hits. You know,
I think are they kind of gone now? I think they are.
I mean, everything's gone now. Well,
Whoa.
recording artists,
Deep,
no.
Jamie. No, I mean in the sense of the spotlight.
Yeah,
Because the spotlight is finite, Jamie.
oh yeah,
Everybody has their time.
I don't think they've had like a hit song in a couple of years now. I don't know. I think the one song I liked by them before I really heard I think before they were really popular actually, I heard the song Car Radio. And I think that was a pretty solid song. It's kind of like spoken word, and it gets pretty intense. I thought that song was cool. But yeah, they're a little poppy. They're not really my thing, but I liked it. It was a fun time with a friend of mine. You know,
Well, it's different, right?
seeing them live, still fun.
Oh yeah, I think it would still be a fun show.
Yeah.
No, if someone said, "Do you want to go see 21 Pilots?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah, it wasn't like a bad show.
I wouldn't
but-
know many of the songs. But
No,
it'd probably be
exactly.
fun.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of them, but yay, yeah, it was a good time.
Take a lot of edibles.
yeah, yeah.
For like
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that'll make it good.
This will make it fun.
Yeah,
It makes a lot of things fun, Jamie.
it does. It does.
So, yes, my story. Okay, I'm getting slightly
breaking
concerned.
your silence.
Yeah, breaking my silence, coming uncaged, unkempt. I'm trying to think of other words that involve freedom and breaking out.
I don't know. Liberation.
I'm already out. Yeah, liberated.
Yeah.
No, I've been a little bit worried lately, and I'm not gonna say it's good or bad if this is the case, but
Yeah.
I am slightly worried. I'm not worried. I'm just thinking about the fact that it's possible that I have ADD. because
I would believe that.
see, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
Is I'm like, yeah, maybe
I mean,
sometimes.
I'm no doctor. I'm not going to like self-diagnose anyone, but I'm just saying if you were diagnosed, it wouldn't shock me, I guess,
Yeah, and it wouldn't really shock me either,
Yeah.
or probably a lot of people.
Yeah.
But and I don't think like ADD is necessarily purely a con. I think so I've been having a problem. The reason I've been thinking about it is because it's a very common thing because I've been having problems with coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is my theory that I have at the moment is because I've been drinking like 2 cups of coffee a day for the last week or two.
Yeah.
And the last 2 days, I've been so tired. It's actually hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's a thing where I sleep 8.5 hours. I wake up, I drink a coffee. It's 11 a.m. and I'm watching a video or something like that, and I'm falling asleep in my chair.
Oh, wow.
Kind of thing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like just blacking out. Do you know what I did, Jamie? I drank another cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, you know what? This can always be solved with brute force.
Yeah.
So I had 2 coffees before noon. And then the second coffee just made it even worse. And then I had to go lay down for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I can't even think. I'm literally just like zoning out. I'd watch a video, and watching the video would feel like a weird taxation. Like it was difficult to track.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I would just like shut it off and then just lay there again for a bit.
Weird.
And I was Googling it, and they said it's pretty common to people with ADD. Not to say I have it or not.
Yeah.
But they said it's common because I don't even understand how this works, but apparently it just gives me more like
affects them
more
differently.
Stimuli is calming.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Okay.
I don't really know how that works. But
is that actually, you know what? That is why Adderall is like a stimulant, and they do prescribe that for people with like ADHD.
And to me it's confusing how that works.
Yeah, giving them more energy.
Yeah, giving more energy gives you less. I don't know how that works, but
you'd think it wouldn't necessarily make you tired, but I guess I have heard from people who take like what did I just say?
What part?
What's the drug called that they give people?
Adderall.
Jesus. Okay, yeah, Adderall. My brain is just gone.
Jamie, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, maybe I need some.
maybe I need some.
Maybe
Adderall.
I need some Adderall. No,
I think I zoned out in the middle of a sentence. There.
Yeah. No. I do know people who like actually prescribe that, and I have heard people say it does kind of make them tired sometimes, or it'll. So, I guess that is kind of a way of dealing with it. It kind of calms you, So
I don't think really knowing it is useful to me.
Yeah.
Especially at this point because I'm a bit older now and I'm pretty
used to the way
I work.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't think it's really useful for me to like. I don't even know if I even want to investigate it any more than I have.
Oh yeah, like yeah. If you like I would say you're pretty high functioning with whatever. Like if you do have anything like that, I would say you function well. So it's not like you would need any prescription. Unless you felt obviously that it was getting worse or something. I don't know.
I think I might ease off on the coffee and caffeine in general. I think that's gonna be my next approach. Mm. And if that fixes it, then maybe it's like a thing where I said where I just got to be careful with.
Yeah, I do know. Caffeine is one of those things that it is kind of a different thing to a lot of people because it might have to do with ADD or ADHD more than people know, maybe, but I do know that I've heard people say that coffee makes them tired. There are definitely a big population of people who are like, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, and that's not a guarantee, but I think maybe it gets to that point where I start off and I'm good, and coffee works for me, and then after like a week or two, I think I start to plateau or something. I don't know. It's a thing that is just currently directly affecting my life. So I was looking into it a little bit, and as I said, I can't believe how tired I am. We're talking that being productive is just non-optional.
Yeah.
It's like I in fact just even like going to eat food, I was just like, oh god. I was just like, going up the stairs, I'm like, oh, just get the fucking put it in the thing and just make it. Thankfully I meal prep, so it's not a huge hassle. But,
yeah, that's fair. And
I don't like that feeling. I like being productive and energetic and having stuff on the go. So when I get in that state, actually, I almost feel guilty. It's some weird messed up Dutch thing. Yeah. That I think I've told you about a little bit before.
Yeah.
Just Dutch people, for some reason, when we have this, if we're not working on a regular basis, at least for me, I develop a guilt complex and I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
And I'm failing.
Yeah. You're like always like, I need to be planting tulips.
I could be gardening right now.
I need to be building a windmill.
I could be holding a baby in public.
I need to be carving wooden shoes.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. That's debatably more of a German thing.
Is it?
Flips
No.
it goes between the two.
What are those called? Clogs.
Yeah, they're called clogs. You know what?
Those are totally Dutch.
Well, Jamie, guess what? I have like
because they wear them
Dutch. You know what? I have a lot of Dutch uncles, but guess which uncle wears the wooden shoes? The German one.
Really?
Yeah.
They're totally
Wrap your head around
They
that one,
totally
Jamie.
are from the Netherlands though, because
Well, they're not far from each other. Like,
true.
Like,
but do you know they wear them in the dikes, which are the marshy land where they plant tulips.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So that's Netherlands as far as I know.
a little piece of history is when the Nazis came over to Holland, because Holland was pretty like defenseless. They're just like just take over our land.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And because my papa grew up there, and they tried to flood the marshes. But then the Germans just came in dinnies, which are like these kind of waterproof vehicles, and just kind of came over there anyway.
Right.
And then after that, the Dutch were like, "Okay, all right, you win.
Yeah.
you just get to take all our crops now."
Yeah. Yeah, I can. Well, okay. So based on what you just said, I can also see how the cultures would kind of intertwine there.
That's what I'm saying. They're not far from each other.
Yeah.
The Dutch and German are intertwined in some ways.
Yeah. Are they really close? I'm not good with geography. Are they?
They're not far from each other.
Really?
I'm not great with geography.
Are they on
either.
like the border of each other?
Fuck, I'd have to double check.
Yeah.
It's once again, guys. I even apologize for that. When I was in high school, you know what? I was actually not a bad student, but the worst class I ever did was geography.
Yeah.
It was my geography is really bad.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about my bad geography
yeah,
at
yeah.
some points already, and that really ties into my bad sense of direction and stuff like that. And then maybe that wraps into the whole ADD thing. Maybe sometimes I just struggle to focus on the present and where I am, and
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I know, like, obviously I can like continents. I'm good with all that. But yeah, definitely like specific continents I'm not as good with, like where the countries are.
yeah,
Like,
I feel bad about that one though.
I could
'cause
point out like
I should know a little bit.
Russia. I could point out like Russia, Italy, like Japan.
Oh, I know
like,
those ones
There's
too.
there's definitely a lot of countries I could totally point out, but some I definitely couldn't point them all.
Yeah, no,
out.
but I'm just saying I feel a little bad because I should know.
Yeah.
Because I've heard like stories and history, and I should
Ooh.
at least know where it happened on a map.
Ooh.
You know?
Actually, so yeah, something I was reading about. This is actually a pretty easy transfer to this little conversation. So I was reading about languages and stuff, and I was reading about like language extinction, which is basically when a language kind of fizzles off, whether or not like a secondary language becomes more popular, and then slowly the people who knew the original kind of get older and die off, like stuff like that. I was just reading about that. I'm like, that is very interesting how language evolves and changes and stuff. And I read a weird fact, and I think I still remember these numbers right, but there's people who estimate that I guess there's like 7,000 languages in the world right now or something crazy. Most of them are a lot of them are very small and almost like extinct, so to speak. Like there's people who are just forget. It's going to be
Now,
forgotten.
are there some languages that they're only aware of in tribes?
Oh yeah. There's some,
I imagine that's a pretty good amount of them.
Yeah, there's some like native languages, like even like here in Canada, there's like Ojibwe, stuff like that.
Oh,
which
that's true. Yeah, dialects.
Yeah, which is just being preserved. Basically, I don't think it's like the common way they would talk to one another. It's just kind of preserved for historical sake and stuff, which is cool, like holding on to your culture. But yeah, it's like I read it. It was just an interesting fact, but it was like apparently there's like 7,000 languages in the world, and I think people were estimating that by 2050 they think about 90% of them are going to be extinct or forgotten.
It does sound right.
Seems absurd. 7,000.
That doesn't sound absurd to me personally.
Yeah.
Well, think about everything's becoming centralized.
Yeah.
With the internet, like
Yeah.
like if people want to use, okay, so let's say you're in a situation where you know a relatively foreign language in a small community, let's say, and let's make a gander and say you have access to the internet. Let's say Starlink comes out,
Yeah.
and somebody shows up and they're like, "Here's an iPad,
Yeah.
connect to Starlink."
Yeah.
They're not the only way they can consume content is through universally used languages.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to learn that language.
Yeah. And is it English is pretty much the biggest secondary language? Like pretty much most is it English or
Yeah, if people speak two languages, I think English is the most common one to be at least one of the two.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a common secondary language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very common to if you know two languages or more, you usually know English.
Yeah, it was just interesting because I was reading about language and people are saying there's like starting to be things called like international English, which is like kind of an infusion of English. Just so it seems like it might kind of become more common. Like it's very weird how that works. But yeah, I definitely.
One of my biggest regrets is not learning a language.
a second language. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
It's still possible, but as you get older, it just gets harder.
Yeah, I think it's super impressive when people can speak more than one language. Like,
Oh, I think it's cool.
I can't even imagine.
Oh, it's there's something really incredible about it.
Yeah,
Because I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and then when you start meeting people that know 3 or 4, you're like, how is it even possible?
I know.
What do you even talk? Like, really?
Yeah,
What have I been doing my whole life?
yeah. Yeah, this girl who actually referenced me for my last job, I'll just say her first name. Her name's Darshini.
Darshini.
Darshini, yeah, and
I like that.
Yeah, and she's from India, and she knew like 4 or 5 languages, and she was explaining to me like how there's like 7 different languages in India.
Now, were a lot of them phonetically similar?
I was asking her because I was like, so what you're saying is different areas of India, it would be like you just would go there and you wouldn't understand some people. And she said kind of. She said there was definitely places she would have a hard time understanding, but she said a lot of them, like at least most of them, you would have a common language that you would both know as like a secondary or third language. So it's interesting how it works. So typically they would just go with the one that they both know, I guess, when communicating with each other.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But yeah, and she's very fluent in English too. So it was just like that to me impresses me so much because I'm just like I can barely speak English. So I fumble over my words all the time. So
I knew a guy like
it's
that.
impressive.
I knew someone that when they were growing up, their parents taught them broken English and never taught them their foreign language.
Yeah.
So he knows one language.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
And it's broken English.
Yeah.
It's so funny though because I was talking to him.
Yeah.
And I said he was talking to me, and I just asked him because it's pretty common. I said, "Oh, where are you from?" And he said, "Oh, here." I'm like, "Oh, so you must speak this language?" And he said, "No." And I couldn't help it. I pried a little bit. I went,
Yeah.
"So okay, maybe this one." He's like, "No, I just speak English."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was actually, I hope I wasn't like facially shocked.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
definitely like, this guy only knows bad English.
Yeah.
And we're talking like he would be like, "Oh, how's it going, man? Oh, yeah, it's good, very good."
Yeah.
You know, like just
Well, it wasn't just an accent. You mean like it was still just kind of
it was like slightly broken English.
Yeah.
The way you would expect
Here-
somebody who has another like their main language to speak. it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Which that makes sense if you're raised by parents who are that was their second language. I can see it happening. It's one of those things though that I think over time, I'm sure if you'd be surprised, he's probably actually gotten a lot better at the age he was now. I'm sure as a
Yeah,
kid,
that
it was
probably is true.
because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do naturally adapt. Like I know my cousin went to Quebec or something, and that's why people do like immersion stuff, right? Like when they go to a country to learn a language, because it's almost like when you're forced to be around it all the time. It's you kind of just have
going to the place where it is.
you just
the
have to
go-to.
adapt.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you have no other choice. If you're gonna do anything, you have to figure out what they're saying.
You know, I don't know if I've talked about this in the podcast before, Jamie, but I wish we could find a. Okay, so when my grandparents came to Canada
Yeah.
from Holland, I think he was like they were 14, a little bit after the war, maybe in the 50s, early 50s kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they came here and they had kids, which were obviously my parents, they decided they're never going to teach their kids the native language.
Yeah.
Which in this case would be Dutch.
Right.
Because both my grandparents speak fluent Dutch. Because when they came to Canada, they viewed it as, we're Canadians now. We
Yeah.
speak English when we're converting basically to being Canadians.
Yeah.
And they viewed it that they were very intense about that. So when they were growing up, they did not teach their kids Dutch.
Yeah, which that would make sense because it's kind of like it's practical to teach them obviously what's gonna help them
Yeah.
out more where they're living currently.
Yeah, and back then they viewed it as a land of opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a new place and they're inviting us in and this is amazing and we can start a new life here.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Because maybe after the war, I think a lot of those areas weren't quite what they used to be.
Oh,
so
yeah,
a lot of people
yeah.
left.
Yeah,
Now, so what else I was going to say at the beginning is I wish there was a middle ground between the two extremes.
Yeah.
So there's the one extreme which is completely discarding your culture to prioritize coming to a new country.
Yeah.
Then there's another extreme,
Yeah.
which is to actively resent the country you're in, and in some cases not even teach your kids English,
Yeah.
and they're also in Canada
Yeah.
or the States.
I think that's pretty rare though, because it's kind of a necessity. I would say most people who kind of like immigrant elsewhere, usually they do know a second language, so that would be. I still think that's pretty uncommon.
Believe it or not, if you go to even there's even parts of Toronto
Oh yeah,
where there's some people that don't even speak English.
That's true. I guess if there's like
they gather into their own communities basically.
right, like
home away from home.
Little Italy, stuff like that.
Yeah. If you go into the right neighborhoods, you'll find people like, let's say in Chinatown,
yeah,
that they only speak Chinese.
I
they only
suppose-
speak Mandarin.
yeah. I guess at the end of the day is like if you're able to live in a community and it works, I guess it works. I don't know. People typically learn languages out of necessity, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I think to some extent, I don't know. I've definitely met people because I said I've met a lot of people in Toronto, and some of them definitely resented Canada or resented the country they're in.
were they brought by their parents or something?
Yeah, they kind of grew up there, or they. Yeah, actually, you know what? Pretty commonly, I think they said, they moved. They grew up there, like their parents came or something.
So it
like
would
that.
be weird to like purposely come somewhere you don't like.
That happened.
They wouldn't choose to do that. Yeah, otherwise.
Actually, what, believe it or not, I don't know if I've told this story.
Yeah.
I had a friend who got a mail order bride. I've heard. I don't know if I've told this in the podcast.
No, you
It's
haven't.
crazy.
Yeah.
So he used to be like, I think, kind of a brawler, alcoholic sort of guy, right?
Yeah.
Getting fist fights all the time. Then he converted to Islam.
Yeah.
And like white dude, ginger beard sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I worked with him for a little bit, and he was a practicing Muslim.
Right.
So he got a mail order bride from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And he told me, so when they came here, they got married, they went through the whole process. They only communicated through Google Translate. And then
weird.
she said when she came here, she refuses to learn English.
Yeah.
So so he started to learn Arabic.
Yeah.
So they could communicate.
Yeah.
But basically, at this point, I think she's still here, and she's still a resident of Canada,
Yeah.
and she has no desire to learn English.
Yeah.
Isn't that isn't that
interesting.
interesting?
It
It's just,
is.
what a wild world.
It's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like if I went somewhere where the language wasn't English, ideally, I probably wouldn't want, like, I feel like at my age it would be hard to learn another language. So,
Okay, Jamie, it's difficult at our age. It's not.
it's not impossible.
It's not extreme. Like if we're not 40. We're
No,
not
exactly.
45.
No, I know it's not impossible, but my point is, I guess I would be hesitant unless I knew it would be a very long-term thing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
you should go somewhere for a year. If you went, let's say, to Korea for a year,
Yeah.
and got completely immersed in it,
Yeah.
I think that would actually be very cool.
Here's
I'd love to live in Korea for a year, South Korea, obviously, but.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things. I guess I would be hesitant unless I knew it was going to be something I'm going to spend a lot of time doing. Like if I live somewhere for a long time, but I guess I would be hesitant to like all of a sudden try and.
Well, I think new
But again,
experiences
it
are
happens,
cool anyway.
Exactly, it happens naturally. I would give it my shot. I'd give it my best shot for sure.
When Andrew went to Germany for 3 months,
Yeah.
he learned a lot at that time and got a lot of their culture, and I think he has no regrets about it.
Yeah.
It's not about being all in or all out.
Oh,
it's
no,
more
no.
just going to appreciate something and learn as much as you can about.
Oh, I'm not just
know.
saying visiting. I would obviously try my. But I'm just saying if I actually moved somewhere, if I knew it was gonna be a long term thing, I'd probably try my best to. One thing I think's interesting. I was actually talking to my friend's dad. So I guess he was raised in Quebec and he only knew French, and then he moved to Ontario when he was like 13 or something. So I don't know, maybe he was younger. I don't actually know the age, but I was talking to him and this question popped in my head because I was just really curious. I was like, I always wondered if. I wonder how much language shapes the way you think. Like, for example, if you speak a language that has like more words for negativity, is it likely your brain goes down negative thought patterns easier than if there's like a language that that's limited in the way you can express emotion? Then is it possible you don't really explore that as much? Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
like-
Is this a general question?
Yeah, like so I'll just give an example of what I asked him, and he was like, "That's a good question." Like he was like kind of like, I've actually never had anyone ask me this, but he grew up only knowing French, and then now he's fluent in English. Like he's like a lot older now. He's like my friend's dad, and I just asked him. I was like, did you find that when because he's still kind of fluent in French too. I'm like, do you find that you almost have like a different personality when you're thinking in a different language? Because it's like, I just wonder how much it affects like your emotions. Because like again, certain languages have more ways to express things than others. So I
Yeah.
wonder if the way you think starts changing based on the language. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But
No,
and
that is very interesting.
yeah, and he kind of was like, that's a good point. He's like, I don't know. He's like, it's hard to tell because I was pretty young, but he's like, I definitely feel like I was starting to change, but he doesn't know how much of that is owed to the language. Like, he could have just, obviously, he's just getting older and learning a new language. Everything's different, right?
You know what? I will say, just amusing. I don't think this is the answer or anything, but I
Yeah.
would say that being able to have the words to explore and understand something
Yeah.
is what allows you to come to conclusions.
Yeah.
Whether those conclusions are healthy or not is on the table.
Yeah.
But I think if you don't have the words to describe something that you're feeling,
They're
that
still
feeling,
there.
yeah, that feeling's not going to go away.
Yeah.
And maybe in the way that if you were able to verbalize and understand it, you could resolve that feeling.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Language
I
is
feel
so
like
interesting.
I do think that if I couldn't describe something, but I felt it, that would be much more frustrating.
Yeah.
Than having the tools, whether they're negative or not, to let those feelings out.
Which I would say there's still definitely emotions that I even find are hard to describe. But again, I still think there's languages that are probably a little more limited in that regard for like emotional explanations.
Apparently, English is pretty low on the ladder in that regard.
Yeah, I've heard like French is actually big for
Like
emotional words.
we have less words for
emotions.
Yeah, it's in all less words for emotions
Like-
and alternatives for things like like the classic thing, and I think is it Latin or Greek where they have like tons of different words for the word love.
Yeah, agape
Just-
love.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
all
like
that.
love for your friends, love for your family,
Yeah.
love for your significant other.
Yeah, so they have ways to specify the type of love. Yeah,
Yeah, so they have more ways to express those kind
where
of
we
emotions.
just kind of it's context based for us.
It really is, and English is heavily reliant on context.
Like if a friend of mine's like, "I love you," I would take that as like, "Oh, they love me," but not in like a romantic way.
are we getting married or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's context based.
And if you're lacking a little common sense around here, you're not going to do well.
yeah,
But you know, if you're not a very intelligent person, but you were in a Latin community,
yeah,
at least you would know exactly what they meant. When they
Exactly.
said the things they said.
exactly.
There
Yeah.
wouldn't be any confusion about context or sarcasm or.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, there was one other little thing I was gonna say about that. Oh yeah.
You know what's so funny is, this guy lived with us. He was from I think Chile
Yeah.
in South America, and he was learning English. His English wasn't great,
Mm.
and at one point, because I'm pretty sarcastic by default,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of, and I don't think about it, I just do it. So I'm just being sarcastic, and I was with him, and I was joking with him, being a little sarcastic.
Oh, yeah.
And he gave me like the really confused face,
Yeah.
that he's like. And then eventually, I think at one point he was like, Austin. And I'm like, what? And he's like, why do you say things that you don't mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something like that. And I'm like, dude, it's sarcasm.
I
man."
knew that's
But he
what I was
didn't get
going.
it, you know?
Yeah. That's totally fair. Because again, and it would happen to you too. Like if you were in a place and you were literally going purely off of like the words you learned, and someone said something, you probably wouldn't pick up on the cues of jokes.
Intricacies of context.
Yeah, you would just
There'd
be
be
like,
no
why
way.
are they saying these things?
I'm probably the worst person to be around if you're learning English, because they're just like,
Yeah.
why?
Oh,
they're
me
like
too.
they're like
I
probably
feel like-
going back to the person teaching them and going like, man, he said this today. I don't even know why. He seemed really happy.
Yeah.
But he was talking about he wanted to kill himself. I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Austin depressed?
That's totally fair. Yeah. But yeah.
He was smiling the whole time. It was a great night.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Something to something that I actually wasn't planning on talking about. My friend just texted me about it. Actually,
You're looking at a text right now, Jamie. We're
no,
on the air.
I just looked at my phone for a second and I read it and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I asked him that. Okay. So something weird I did the other night. I was with my friend and my friend was telling me he was watching. You know who Jake Paul is, and you've heard about that fight, the UFC fight.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was boxing. Sorry,
I will admit. Actually, do you know more about it? Because
I watched it.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say I looked at it and I was just too lazy.
Yeah.
To figure out what happened.
Okay.
So what happened?
So okay. So I'm not like a huge fan of like boxing. I like watching like UFC and stuff sometimes. I think it's kind of
I'm
fun.
getting excited for where boxing's going. Boxing is literally becoming just like celebrity showdown.
Yeah, I do like that. So,
The constraints of it's literally, Jamie, I'm convinced that boxing is going to become a Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Where like bodybuilders are going to start boxing.
It was-
like strongmen are starting to box.
Yeah.
Like CrossFit people, like all these people from every genre of sport ever is going to start boxing.
So it was Ben Askren was the guy who fought Jake Paul.
Who's Ben Askren?
So Ben Askren, he's not a boxer either. Neither is Jake
See what
Paul.
I mean? Like,
okay.
This is the best. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so literally an old YouTuber versus this guy he was an Olympic wrestler, I think, and he also was in UFC briefly. But I think he's 19-2. I don't know what that means. I think that means he wins like most of the time. As far as
with those
wrestling.
records, it's hard to tell because of weight classes.
With wrestling,
who are they
though, I
actually
think.
fighting? Oh, okay, wrestling.
So
Okay.
again, this guy's not a boxer. So anyway, yeah, I was at my friend's and he was like, oh yeah, that is on tonight. He's like, I wanted to watch that, but I didn't want to like pay for it for pay per view. And I was kind of like, man, like I'm kind of curious. I'm like, I don't know, I'll like chip on it if you want. He's like, sure. So we got it. And I chipped a bit more just because I was like, yeah, whatever. It was kind of
You're
my
the
idea.
one who was more genuinely curious.
Yeah,
sort of
so I was
thing.
like, so it was like $50. I chipped like 30. You chipped 20, and
50.
yeah, they
for
made
one
millions.
night.
They made
Are
millions.
you shitting?
They
me?
made millions off this,
Dude.
Yeah. So anyway, I know, and I'm giving Jake Paul money.
Dude, I thought we were talking like 10, 15 bucks.
No, it was a lot. I only chipped 30, but anyway. That's
Okay,
this is
all
what
right.
this is what's funny though. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So first off, Snoop Dogg and Justin Bieber are there for some reason, and like Snoop,
What were they doing?
Well, Snoop Dogg was commentating, which was kind of funny, but Justin Bieber, like, I still remember Justin Bieber like performed, so he went on stage and sang, and
what?
And me and my friend were just sitting there like. We paid $50 for a Justin Bieber concert on TV
to sing in a boxing ring.
Yeah, they're like, did they really think people like sitting around like watching boxing want to watch Justin Bieber? It was just funny.
Jamie, I got bad news. You're a chump. You're a fucking chump.
Man, it was worth it. It was funny.
Jamie, that's how much our tickets to Massey Hall cost.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
maybe slightly more.
To be fair, there was more than one fight. That was the main event. There was a bunch of boxing going on, so it was fine. Like
okay, it was like a whole night.
Yeah, it was a couple hours of boxing. Like it wasn't horrible, but it was funny because like right before the Jake Paul and Ben Askren fight, it was like. Justin Bieber performed.
Singing Boyfriend?
Snoop Dogg was there. I don't even know. It was like one of his new songs.
Okay, I was like, what was he singing? One of his like relationship songs?
Yeah.
Or?
Also, side note, I thought it was funny was I was literally dressed like Justin Bieber when he got on stage. I was like, oh no. I looked down. He's wearing like a white sweater, a black pants, and like a toque. And I was like, why am I dressed exactly like him? I was like, God damn it. But,
I paid for this suffering.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I guess the fight's already been spoiled probably, so I can just say Jake Paul won.
Yeah, I knew that part.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All I know is people were
now.
complaining about something, and I was just too lazy to figure out what it was.
It was really disappointing, honestly. We turned it on. As soon as I saw them together in the ring, I looked at them. I was like, no, that guy's gonna lose. I was like,
the other guy.
Ben
like,
Askren.
how was he way smaller?
He's definitely just not in as good a shape. They were the same weight class apparently, but this guy definitely, because he's like 30 something. Jake Paul's like a young guy, like in his 20s. So it was like as soon as I saw them compared to each other, I was like, okay, like this is, I was like, he's definitely gonna win. I could just tell right away. And yeah, and it was literally like a 40-second fight, and then he just knocked him. He fell over.
What?
And then
40? That's it.
It was so short, like maybe a little longer, but it was so short. And then. Like definitely, I don't know, maybe a minute, a little over. It was so short though, and we're just like, come on. He knocks. He's pretty much not even throwing punches. It's basically him, just Jake Paul throwing them all. And then the guy falls over once. I didn't think it was over right away, but apparently that's how boxing works. The ref just called it like right away. He's like, he's out, and the guy's like, no, I'm still good. Oh yeah, you hear the shaking of the
I'm
mic.
getting the poppity pops.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, basically, it was very disappointing. But then the guy just walking off smiling after, because the guy made $2 million anyway.
Oh, Ben
Ben
Askren.
Askren, like
Oh yeah, he's
he
having
made
the time of his
million.
fucking life.
He just got punched in the face for a couple $1 million. Like, yeah, just punched in the face for a couple $1 million. So
You don't have to be uncomfortable, Jamie. You just got to find the sweet spot. You know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like-
I don't.
You always end up with the trouble, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm not even like intentionally doing that. I just randomly plug them
I
in and give us
know.
both a random mic.
Yeah, my cord's shaking.
You're just. I'm sorry,
if
Jamie.
anyone's wondering what the chattering
You're
is.
always the unlucky one
Yeah.
in the duo.
But yeah, basically, I do remember the funniest moment of that whole thing was just when Justin Bieber started playing, and we just looked at each other. We're like, did we just pay $50 for this?
You know what, Jamie? Would you? I mean, the
Gold.
reality is, Jamie,
Just
if you were
gold.
going to get $2 million, would you just get your ass beat up by Jake Paul?
Yeah.
I would too. I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, beat the shit out of me. I'm like, dude, knock a couple of my teeth out, give me a concussion.
I'd get punched
If
in
I
the
walk
face.
away with $2 million,
Yeah.
I'll take a concussion.
Or more. I don't even know. I know.
I don't even have a concussion. I haven't had any concussions yet. I can have at least one.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'll walk away with $1 million for that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's funny because he actually looked happy walking away. It showed him like leaving with his family. His wife's like hugging him, and he's like smiling walking
He's
away.
yeah, he's got that little bit of a chub, but he's like, dude, I could eat burgers for the rest of my life now.
Yeah.
I could eat fatty burgers.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he was already like pretty wealthy because he was like an Olympian and stuff.
Oh, dude, but the payout there must have been unreal.
That was probably
it
his
only
best.
$2 million?
It probably was more because
It could have even
if you
been
think
more.
about how much they made from even just pay per view alone, the fact that I paid
$50 a pop.
So
Dude, you are literally paying like Snoop Dogg so he can just keep smoking weed and just showing up to things.
Snoop Dogg doesn't
Justin
need money
Bieber.
either.
I
Actually,
know.
Snoop Dogg on the thing literally said when he won because he bet on Jake Paul. He's like, "Yeah, I won $2 million." Snoop Dogg literally said that when
Yeah.
Jake Paul won. So Snoop Dogg had a $2 million bet on Jake Paul.
Yeah, he probably doesn't care. He's
Yeah.
just like,
He,
throw
al-
$2 million.
he already has so much money. He doesn't. Yeah, he was probably just like that was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I wonder what the incentive is to keep going.
Yeah.
Like if you're even if you're Justin Bieber, what's the drive that keeps you going? Maybe you do really love it. I feel like at that point I wouldn't love it anymore. I feel like I've been used up and beaten like a horse.
Yeah.
For like 10 years, and I would just hate it at that point.
Well, okay. Does Snoop Dogg actually still tour making music like before COVID?
Well, less Snoop Dogg. I feel like I'm talking like Bieber. Like why?
Sure,
Why
but
does he do it anymore?
But I'm just saying, Snoop Dogg. I saw like a funny meme about Snoop Dogg, and it was just pictures of him in like the most random scenarios, like him and Martha Stewart, him at a boxing match holding the guy's hand up, him doing all this random stuff, and it's like when you've completed the main story and now you're doing side quests.
While you're doing the
It just
side
shows
quests.
Snoop Dogg. 'Cause, yeah, he's literally Snoop Dogg. I think is just living. He's just doing whatever. I think he just likes the spotlight. Clearly, I don't think he's really in it for the money too much. Because clearly he's wealthy beyond like there's no point in making more. I'm sure. You know what I mean?
I mean, then again,
he
sometimes
could
you'd be
totally
surprised.
live off that the rest of his life very comfortably. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to do anything. I think he just enjoys the spotlight. Which same with Justin Bieber. I think at a certain point they just like the spotlight too.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You know what? I'm not in that position. So what the hell do I know? I just think if I became very famous, and I think after 10 years, give it a good 10 years. Let's say I'm 36, 37.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, does the novelty eventually wear off? Like, is it a thing where I'm like, I'd rather just go home and, have kids and just chill out and not do this anymore?
Well,
I already have boatloads of money and I'm famous.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who have done that, in the entertainment industry. So, yeah, there's definitely people who kind of retire and just live off their ridiculous amount of money they've accumulated.
That's true.
It happens.
And I don't think fame is all it's chopped up to be, really.
No. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, I mean, there's incredible things about it, obviously,
Yeah.
But
there's also incredible things about laying low, I think, too, because I think there's times it could be overwhelming having everyone know who you are, probably.
I love anonymity.
Oh, yeah.
Anonymity.
I would have been able to say it
It's
until
a word.
until I heard you say it in that weird way.
People know what I mean.
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Anonymity. I don't.
Thankfully, we're
anonymity. I think.
both intellectuals
Sure.
on the air.
Yeah. But yeah,
Very-
no, I there definitely are like big famous people who actually complain about that. I've definitely heard that, like paparazzi.
Suffering from success.
Yeah, it could get annoying. I could see like not being able to
Yeah,
just go.
you know what? I definitely think it's mean to just like be like, oh fuck you, you're famous, you just be happy all the time.
Yeah,
Oh, paparazzi, oh boo fucking who?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
You have
climbing
money,
your fence in
though.
the backyard and taking pictures of you through the window. Oh fucking I wish that happened to me.
yeah. What, you got swatted randomly because someone doesn't like you? Like, boo hoo.
Boo fucking who?
Yeah.
I wish I had that pool.
yeah, 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 exactly. Well, yeah, you honestly like you gotta like appreciate the little things a little, and it's like if you think about it, like there is a lot of stuff if you were super famous you wouldn't be able to do. Like you couldn't just go for a nice little bike ride, out in a public place, probably.
Well, Jimmy, you know the famous story about Michael Jackson, right?
No.
How he had all of his friends all show up to simulate going to a grocery store.
What?
You've never seen that?
No.
Dude, it's a weird video.
That
So what
is.
happened is, well, that's pretty much the context right there. If you actually, I recommend watching the video if anybody listening hasn't seen it. Michael Jackson, he's so famous and he has been his whole life because of Jackson 5 going into his solo career.
Yeah.
He had never in his entire life gone to a grocery store to get food.
Wow.
So when he was in his 40s or something like that, all of his friends like rented out a grocery store so he could go through and buy groceries.
Simulate going grocery shopping.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's intense. Could you imagine being so rich you get to go grocery shopping? So rich and famous, you get to see what it's like to go grocery shopping.
You've literally never been to a grocery store.
That's
Isn't that
crazy.
insane?
Actually,
Can you imagine, Jimmy? 45 years of your life,
yeah,
you have not even gone and purchased your own food.
yeah, because that is true. Because he was a child star, like he
Was in Jackson 5. He
would have been recognized his entire life.
Yeah, by the time he was 8, he was a star.
Yeah,
He was big.
That's crazy. Actually, and one thing that's similar, I actually saw an interview. It's an interview of Kurt Cobain, and he literally, so he used to shop at like thrift stores. Obviously, like his whole look was,
I
like,
know the whole apathy
grungy
look. Yeah.
thing. So he used to love thrift stores, and he said in an interview, he said there was a really nice thrift store that would actually shut down for him and let him just kind of browse around without being bothered, because that was like at the peak of like Smells Like Teen Spirit and everything. And
Yeah.
he literally said like he would be recognized and kind of bothered when he was just trying to kind of thrift shop, so they would like shut the store down for him just so he could
So we could show up and do it.
at
Yeah.
like a thrift store, which is funny.
Well, you know what? That is kind of the sad truth. Is if you, I think especially for people like us, because I'm more introverted than you are, but I feel like you need the introversion. You
Yeah.
need to be alone sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, I need to
I
recharge.
think it would be really hard to lose all those little things.
Yeah.
So I think there's something worth complaining about.
Well, and I would say even being extroverted, I still like to be around friends, though not. I still wouldn't really like being harassed by strangers. Again, I think the novelty would be cool initially, but I think you would totally get used to it. Or I mean, yeah, you would basically, it would definitely become a hassle after years and years. I mean, I guess if it was like just adoring fans, like obviously it would be nice. Like I would, but it would still be, I don't know, it would just.
Let's put it this way: I don't think everybody would want to be Michael Jackson.
No, and exactly.
Where you never lived a normal life.
Exactly, and at that level, it's not even just fans; it's everyone recognizes them. So it might even be bad altercations.
And do you know what's even weird is when you're famous from that young for that long.
Yeah,
that's normal life to you.
Yeah,
there is nothing else.
Yeah,
there is no making it. There is no like, oh, now I'm famous. It's you've always been, and that's your life. So it's in a way, I think it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
like he never like had a, just like had a job, like a part.
Yeah.
Like I'm 14, I'll go get a part-time job,
or a childhood, really. I guess.
Just biking around a park and just like meeting random kids.
Apparently,
and
his dad was very like kind of abusive, as in like really wouldn't let them do much, and they always had to be practicing singing, and
they all did it. No,
Yeah.
These people, all these things that happen to these kids, these guys when they're young, it's not accidental.
Yeah.
It's not some weird like coincidence that they're there.
Yeah.
No, they had some weird usually they had some crazy parents that moved to a city where they're like, my kid's going to be famous, and they freaking drill them.
Yeah.
and some of them make it. It's not
No.
like something where it's a wholesome event. Like, oh, all these kids coincidentally decided to start. Oh, how nice is this? You know?
Here's the thing. I don't like how Michael Jackson has tainted the idea of owning your own theme park. if I was like ridiculously rich, I would totally want my own theme park.
Yeah, come on.
But you seem now it just seems creepy to have your own theme park.
That's true.
Unfortunately, like
good
Neverland,
point.
it sucks because
Yeah.
I would totally want that. If
There's a lot of insinuation there. Like if you're a famous student, like, and I'm an
suddenly
older...
you seem like you're grooming children just because you have a roller coaster in your backyard.
Come on, guys.
What if me and my friends of my age just want to go on a roller coaster? Yeah.
That's a very good point. And
I know.
that's never coming back. Nobody's ever opening a theme park ever again.
Like a
under their own
private
name.
one,
Yeah, no way.
I know.
It's
He's
like-
tainted it, I think.
You might as well just take your walk right to court.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie,
Yeah.
we're out of time.
Ooh, all right.
I think that was a pretty good finish. So let's just call
Let's
it
just
there.
leave
Yeah.
it there. All right.
Leave it floating there.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, y'all.
Yeah, y'all.
Yeehaw.
See you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye.